Okay, Mercury is stationing retrograde on Thursday this week. That's in a few days. July 17th. It's stationing at 15 degrees and 34 minutes of Leo. It's staying in Leo the whole 3 weeks. It's going from 15 degrees to 4 degrees. So like kind of the halfway mark of Leo back into early degrees of Leo. And Mercury is going to be retrograde from July 17th through the 11th of August. This is your standard divine trickster energy, miscommunication, tech glitches, plans falling through, the usual. In Leo, this Mercury retrograde might feel really showy and loud, like you're not going to be able to keep the snafus a secret. They're going to be very front and center. Leo is the ham, the star of the show, and wants the attention on it. Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun shines. The sun takes up space, grabs your attention. And so we might experience a renegotiation, a review, or just like additional attention and discourse on the nature of fame, public figures, leadership figures, like authority figures. The sun represents the king, like the station of king, the role of king, not necessarily the person. The people come and go. It's like the role of leader and like almost like a duty or a mission to be in that role. At a certain point, there's like a total conflation in people's minds between the person and the role that they fill. Like when you get famous enough, you're not a whole person anymore. You're an icon. You're a representation of a person that people can project their shit onto. So maybe there's some confusion here about like what constitutes good attention, what is too much attention or bad attention. I do want to point out when the cazimi is. The cazimi is when Mercury and the sun meet up and Mercury experiences a rebirth. The sun grants it new life, and it often is a day, it's like a 24-hour period where we gain some insight on like why things have been so difficult or just felt messy lately. That cazimi is at the end of this month. It's on July 31st, and it's at 9 degrees of Leo. As far as the station goes that's happening on Thursday, I actually think the station itself is kind of cute because so Mercury is basically standing still or appearing to from our vantage point as it stations and changes direction, and it's receiving a sextile from Venus over in Gemini, which is a sign that Mercury rules. So there's a little bit of reception there. There's like an invitation here to choose to view any setbacks or frustrations as cute. Like, okay, this is going not at all how I expected. Cute! Venus in Gemini is very adaptable and really good at bouncing back. So whatever's happening, maybe there is a way that we can look at it as like, all right, 3 weeks from now, I'm going to look back at this and be like, that was adorable. Sextiles are positive in like an optional way. There is, you do have to like actively choose to be good-humored and in good spirits about the temporary mess with the understanding that like it will disentangle itself. It's just a storyline that needs to play out. With this retrograde period, I am also reminded of the period of time a couple of summers ago in 2023. It was summer of 2023 when Venus was retrograde in Leo. And there are a few degrees of Leo that Mercury is going back over at the beginning of its retrograde that Venus also went over a couple of summers ago. It was, the week of August 21st through like September 3rd in 2023. So those degrees, it's like 15 to 12 degrees of Leo, are getting activated by a retrograde planet again. So there might be some resurfacing of themes that were prevalent during that time too. This would have been around the time of the Barbie movie, and I think Simone Biles won like her 8th championship. This was also a period of time where Donald Trump, there were like charges against him in Georgia of election racketeering, and he surrendered himself and got like a mugshot. Another really interesting thing that happened during this period of time was BRICS, which is an alliance of nations that doesn't include the US. And I would encourage you to look it up for like a full understanding of like what this alliance and its delegates stand for, or like what their goals are. But they're often in like US media pointed out as like an alternative to Western economies and like a threat to the dollar, basically. It all comes back to money always. Again, that's such a surface level view. If you want like a full understanding, please look them up. But in the summer of 2023, BRICS invited new nations or additional nations to join the alliance. And I think they all ended up joining. It was Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. So major themes of feminine figures being successful, and also alliances, which is a kind of a Venusian topic, being formed and like actively holding out its hand to be like, join us. Mercury is a little more morally neutral than Venus is. Like, it doesn't necessarily have the same interest in upholding the same kinds of figures or justice necessarily. But Mercury does want us examining our beliefs and questioning them, and questioning like information that is being presented to us. I'm pretty sure in the summer of 2023, I was like just quitting my job. So that'll be interesting. I don't have a job to quit right now. I remember I was basically like, oh God, on the precipice of a period of really intense suffering that ultimately delivered me to a really beautiful spot in my life right now. Yeah, so what were you up to in the summer of 2023? I hope this video was helpful and interesting. If you liked it, please leave me a like and make sure to follow me. Comment how you are re-examining your relationship with figureheads and leaders in your life. And if I said something in this video that you think would be helpful for someone else to hear, make sure you share it. If you'd like to work with me personally, click the mushroom and visit the site listed. I'd love to work with you. Good job today. Good luck out there.